Hi, my name is Michaela. Welcome back to my YouTube channel where we talk about all things books. Today, we are doing my very first tag and I'm so excited for it. I was actually going to do the Meet the Booktuber tag, but then I came across this one literally this morning and I was like, no, this is perfect. It's the beginning of the year book tag, which was created by Larry Reed. So we're going to go through all of my book goals for 2025, books I can't wait to read, books that are coming out soon, and also a bit as well, it touches on like why I started my BookTube, so I thought it was quite fitting, you know? By doing this, I'm hoping that you're going to get to know me a bit better because I've gone from doing TikTok where it was like literally 60-second video short form content to long form content. So if you've come from my TikTok, I'm hoping that it's going to let you get to know me a bit more, get to know things about me, and obviously the important stuff, books. Thank you so much for being here. I can't explain how much fun I'm having on BookTube. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. It literally means so much to me. And let's get into it. How many books are you planning on reading in 2025? Now, for the past 2 years, I have set my goal at 100 books. And every year I've gone over that. I think in 2023, I read 160 books. Last year, I read 130, I think. And I'm going to keep my book goal, my reading goal for 2025 at exactly the same. I'm going to stick to it at 100 books. We're going to touch later on in the video on my reading goals, so I won't touch too much on it in this question. But yeah, if I read 100 books this year, I will be really happy. And if I read more than that, it'll be fine. And if I don't read 100, that's also fine. And I think that's something that also links back to pressures on reading. Like, I feel like people are so focused on the numbers, but as long as you are reading books and you are enjoying them, it doesn't matter whether you read 10 books a year or 200 books a year, you know? Something I actually did find myself doing in 2024 was, it was more towards the beginning of the year, towards the end of the year, I realised I was being stupid, but I was like, oh my God, like, no, I've only read 7 books this month, like, I need to read more so I can make more videos, but like, that's putting pressure on myself. Like 7 books in a month is incredible. As of now, I think I've read 6 books in January so far. And yeah, we don't need to be putting pressure on ourselves on the numbers. As long as you're picking up a book, that's all that matters. I do think it can be quite hard to like compare yourself to other people, but don't. If only it was easy as that, right? A book that you're likely to reread this year. Now, I couldn't just pick one. I've got a stack. Am I going to reread all of these books this year, realistically? Probably not. But these are the books I would really like to reread this year. I want to start the Magnolia Parks books from the beginning. I want to go back to book 1, and I've only read the first 3 books. So I haven't even actually completed the series. But I feel like I just want to start them again. As you can see, I absolutely fucking adore these books. Like, they are so off-brand for me. Like, but saying that, they're not, because even though I don't typically read a lot of books like this, I actually don't think there is many books like this, to be fair. I absolutely love Gossip Girl. Like, Gossip Girl is one of my favourite TV shows, and this is Gossip Girl in a book. But not only that, Jessa Hastings has the most beautiful, unique style of writing I have ever read. I am literally obsessed with this series, and I just want to go back and I want to devour it, and I want to reread all my annotations because there's a lot. Now, controversial opinion, but I actually think I prefer Daisy Hates. I love Magnolia Parks. This is like a 6-star series for me, but I think Daisy Hates as a character, I just love her more. And yeah, I'm really excited to like delve back into the series. I think there's like 2 more books coming out, but the Magnolia Parks ones have finished. But the Daisy Hates, there's still some more of those to come out. People always ask me if you have to read like them in order, like the Magnolia Parks, the Daisy Hates, and my answer to that is yes. But if you're a fan of like Gossip Girl, toxic relationships, just rich people drama, I cannot recommend these books enough. I love them. Strange Sally Diamonds by Liz Nugent. I literally think about Sally Diamond's character every single day. She may possibly be my favourite character in any book I have ever read. Now, I actually read this book in 2023. I want to say. Basically, I had just finished reading Lisa Jewell's None of This Is True, and I was feeling a bit slumpy. So I took the chance and messaged Lisa Jewell and said, like, hi, Lisa Jewell, you don't know me, but please can you recommend me a book? And she recommended me this book. Since then, it's absolutely had its moment. Like, I don't feel like I know many people who dislike this book. I absolutely love it. But also, if you haven't read this book, I just want to preface that with, it is a very, very dark thriller book. But Sally Diamond is just the best. I actually only gave this book 4.5 stars when I first read it because I hated the ending. I was so mad. But now I've like sat on it for over a year. I like realised like, okay, yeah, no, the ending was actually perfect for the book. But fun fact, the US have a different ending to the UK. And I have read the US ending. And I do think I like the US ending more. I went to an author talk with Liz Nugent and I thought it was so interesting that they made her change the ending for the American population. I won't obviously say what it is because no spoilers, but yeah, love it. Black Sheep by Rachel Harrison was my best book of 2023 and it snuck in December of 2023. It was like one of the last books I read and I absolutely loved it. But this book is like Marmite. People either like love it and like will die for it or they absolutely hate it and they think it's the worst book they've ever read. There's like no in between. Clearly we know which side I fall on. I don't know what it is. I just really could relate to the main character, which is weird if you've read this book and like know what it's about, because it's about a girl that escapes her like cult family, and I am definitely not from a cult. And I think I just want to reread it. I've been saying I was going to reread it since like the end of 2023 because I want to annotate it, I think, and I want to see if like it holds up like with how much I loved it then. And I'm a bit scared, if I'm honest with you, in case it doesn't. Cackle was actually the first book I then read in 2024, and this was in my top 10 books of the year as well. I did annotate this, I just didn't tab it, and I would just love to reread this one. This is like a witchy feminist horror. It's definitely not really horror. If you're scared of horror, I would read this. I'm actually having a tattoo of one of the characters in this book this weekend. A priority read that's on my TBR for 2025, and for that I don't really have one book. Basically my whole bookshelf I'm excited to read. Like I genuinely am, apart from the ones that we're going to get to later on in this tag, but every single one of them I really want to read. And but then saying that, there's a lot of new releases coming out in 2025 that I'm also really excited for. Like, we've got a new Lisa Jewell, we've got a new Riley Sager, we've got a new Rachel Harrison. The list is endless. There's just too many books. Can I name one? I actually don't think I can. This next question is so harsh, but an author you won't be reading any more of their books in 2025. Shari LaPena, you're out. I'm sorry. I've really tried to read Shari LaPena's books over the years. I think I've read like 3 or 4, including like her new releases as and when they came out. But something I've come to realise with my reading is I am a very character-driven reader. I like to get to know the characters, not deeply, but like I like to get to know like how they feel, etc. So rather than the book all being plot, I definitely need some like character development there. And Shari LaPena doesn't do that. And I went to an author talk with her and she confirmed that when I was there. This is not like rumour on the mill. She is a very plot driven reader, and whilst obviously I do need the plot to be there, I also need to care about the characters that I'm reading, or like wanting to know really like their motivations more than surface level. And I think it confirmed it when we were at the author talk with Shari LaPena, and she was actually on with Liz Nugent, and somebody asked her a question and said, do you miss your characters when you've stopped writing your book? And she said, no, I'm just on to the next book. She doesn't think about them. Whereas Liz Nugent was like, yeah, like I love Sally, like I miss Sally Diamond when I finished writing her. So to me, that confirmed that she is definitely a plot-driven author. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just not that type of reader. So Shari LaPena, you're out. Something new you want to read in 2025, that can be new genres or new tropes. So I'm a thriller girl through and through. I will forever be a thriller girl through and through. But something I really want to make an effort in doing is widening the genres of the books that I read, because I feel like I'm just like shutting myself off to like so many books by only reading thriller. And I do definitely get burnt out from just reading thrillers all the time. So to help with that, I decided in 2025 I was going to read all of the Goodreads choice winners of 2024 in every single category, in the hope that I could like unlock a new genre of books that I would love. That video is coming soon. As and when I am reading them, I am filming my opinions, so I'm gonna like gather them all up, and that will be a vlog that's coming, which I'm really excited about. As of now, I've only done 3, I think, and I think there's like 12 genres. Yeah, and I'm really hoping I'm going to find some new favourite books. So I guess the answer to that is all genres. But in 2024, what I realised was I am a cosy fantasy gal. I might not be a fantasy girl, but I am definitely a cosy fantasy. And I've got some books that are on my TBR that I want to show you. And if you've read any of these, I need you to tell me what you think of them. I've got The Crescent Moon Tea Room, which my bestie Kel got me. And then I've also got Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. Now, I was intimidated by this one because I know Brandon Sanderson is like an epic fantasy writer, isn't he? But apparently this is cozy, so we shall see. And then we've also got A Teller of Small Fortunes, The Teller of Small Fortunes, which also sounds cute. And then I'm just looking at my bookshelf, and I've also got The Baby Dragon Cafe, which, yeah, oh God, can't wait. So hopefully 2025 will be the year of I find so many new favourites, and at the end of the year, I'm hoping my top 10 is going to be quite a diverse top 10. I would really like that. The next question is a popular book that I really want to read, and for that I have chosen Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Check me out with my American edition. I got this from TK Maxx. If you're in the UK, don't sleep on TK Maxx for their books, right? Because I also paid $3.99. I couldn't believe it. Literally couldn't believe it. Now, I already know I like Emily Henry as an author. I really, really enjoy her books. But I don't know why I'm so scared to read this. I think it's actually, no, I do. I know why. And it's the most pathetic reason you're ever going to hear. I think that the bookshop in this book, if I am right, if I'm not right, I'm going to look like an absolute idiot, is called Good Books. I'm getting married this year, and my surname is going to be Good. I take myself seriously. So now I'm like, I have to love this book. If I don't love this book, there's something wrong. And obviously it's like books, and I love books about books, love that. But then it is also a straight romance, and I don't typically love straight romances, but I do like Emily Henry. I am a walking contradiction. Don't believe anything that comes out of my mouth. So like, no pressure, Emily Henry, but my new surname, that it's on you. Most anticipated 2025 book release. We touched on this in the books that I'm most excited to read on my TBR. Oh my God, there's literally so many. How am I going to narrow it down? Okay, I'll do it. Lisa Jewell, Don't Let Him In. I'm obsessed with Lisa Jewell. And if I manage to get an arc of this book, that's how I know I will have made it. Clemens McCallan, Our Last Resort. Now, the reason I'm most excited for this is because I read The Quiet Tenant by this author in 2024, 2023, one of them. And it was the most beautiful writing I have ever read. Like, I think that was her debut novel. And I absolutely loved the writing. The story didn't exactly give me like 100% what I wanted. It was still such a good book. I still gave it 4 stars. But I'm really, really excited because of like how good her writing was in the first one. Just imagine what the next book's going to be like. Riley Sager, With a Vengeance. I didn't like Riley Sager's last release, Middle of the Night, but I did love The Only One Left. Is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called. Holly Jackson is coming out with her first adult novel. I love the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, and that's a YA series, but she's coming out with her first adult one. It's called Not Quite Dead Yet, and I'm, woo! Taylor Jenkins Reid, Atmosphere. Oh, I know that's going to be a 5-star book. Like, 5-star prediction, 1,000,000%. I have no doubt. Taylor Jenkins Reid is my girl. I literally could sit here and answer this question for half an hour because I'm not joking. There is so many books in 2025 I literally cannot wait for. A bookish goal for 2025, and I touched on this at the beginning, but my number one bookish goal for 2025 is to read more slowly and stop putting pressure on myself for like the numbers. And I definitely did stop that towards the end of last year. But like the beginning of 2024, I think I was smashing out like 17 books in a month, which is insane. I think around 10 books a month is like my sweet spot, which is more than enough. I really, really don't need to be like smashing books out. I just want to like enjoy them while I'm reading, not thinking like, oh fuck, I need to get to the next one. Do you know what I mean? And after I've just told you about all the 2025 book releases I want to buy, one of my bookish goals is I want to be more intentional with the books that I buy. I don't just want to buy books on a whim. I definitely did do that for my birthday, but like from February. And by that I mean, I mainly read on my Kindle. I very, very rarely buy I buy physical books. I very rarely read physical books because I just find my enjoyment levels of reading a book are more on a Kindle. I just find it comfier. I read a lot at night time, so it's got the light, etc. So I can definitely buy them on my Kindle, but I don't need to be buying physical copies of books as well as on my Kindle. Do you know what I mean? Unless I absolutely love it. And then, of course, yeah, fine. Like, buy a trophy copy. But, like, buying books on a Kindle isn't exciting, is it? Buying books physically is a separate hobby. Like, I like to collect books. But I've got to rein it in because, honestly, like, my bookshelves are bursting. A book that's been on your TBR that you probably won't ever read. Now, one thing I am good at is unhauling books. I may buy a lot of books, but if I read a book and I don't like it, I will get rid of it. It like doesn't stay on my bookshelf. Or every quarter, I will go and look at the books on my bookshelf. And if I'm not excited to read any of them anymore, I'll get rid of them. But there's a reason that this book is on my bookshelf and it'll probably stay on my bookshelf forever, even though I'm never going to read it. I did read like 100 pages of it, I want to say. And I don't want the trauma. And that is a little life. I just had a look because I've still got like the bookmark in there. I read 144 pages. And I don't think this book is going to add anything to my life apart from trauma. And I don't want to put myself through it. Now, I would normally get rid of the book and just have it off my bookshelf. And it's quite a sad, depressing reason why. But my granddad passed away last year and he was a massive reader. He loved reading. When he passed away, my family said, go and see if there's any books of his that you want. And this is one of them I come away with. So this was my granddad's copy. And I don't know what my granddad was doing reading a little life, but so I don't know. I just feel like it's a bit like sentimental, isn't it? Something else that's even more sad is when my granddad passed away, he was halfway reading a book, which was a thriller book because, yeah, clearly I got it from him. And my family gave me the book with the bookmarking up until where he got to read when he passed away, and they said that they would like me to finish the book for him, and I can't bring myself to do it. I literally can't bring myself to do it. That's quite depressing, isn't it? Moving on. I've got quite a dark sense of humour, guys, honestly, like I'm fine, don't worry about me. The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I don't know if I will ever read this book. I kind of know what it's about, and I don't think I need this book right now, but I'm not saying that there won't be a time where I do need this book, where I do need to read this book. So I can't bring myself to unhaul it. And to be fair, it's not even long. It's like 280 pages, but I just don't feel like I need it right now. Just to touch on what it's about, if you don't know, it's basically about a woman that doesn't want to be here anymore. So she goes to a library, I think it's like while she's like dreaming or in that like middle state, and she picks up books and they show her how her life could have been if she made different decisions. And I think it would be like a really powerful book, but like I don't need it right now, you know? God, that took a depressing turn, didn't it? The next question is a series that I want to read this year, and I've got 3 series I want to get started on. The first one is 2 are thrillers, 1 is not. So MJ Arledge, Eeny Meeny. I've only read 1 book by MJ Arledge, and it was called Eye for an Eye, which is a standalone. This is his detective Helen Grace series, I want to say. And I've heard amazing things about the whole series, and this is book 1. So I would like to start this. Also, guys, if you're a fan of short chapters, this book has 115 chapters. And I don't know what it is. When you have like a short chapters, I feel like I get through the book so much quicker. So that was nice to see. The next is Steve Kavanagh's Eddie Flynn series. Now, I have actually read a couple of books from this series, but I've read them out of order because they can all be read as standalones. I think when I started it was years ago, and I didn't realise they were part of a series. So I want to go from like book 1, because the ones I have read have been so good, and I've heard really, really good things. This one especially, I think this might be like book 5. I got this from a charity shop for £2. I mean, the tagline of it is, the serial killer isn't on trial, he's on the jury. I mean, come on. And the last one might shock you, because, yeah, not my typical thing, but the Boys Atonement series, like Keeping 13, Binding 13. I've seen so many of my friends reading this book this year, and like all of them have like trauma now. And like, I want the trauma too, you know, like give it to me. I did actually own Keeping 13 and Binding 13. And when I did a cull of my TBR, I got rid of it. And now I'm really pissed off at myself. But I'll probably just get it on Kindle, maybe. One thing that scares me though is they're like 700 pages. I'm pretty sure one of them's like 800 pages. And it's like, is it ever that deep? You know? You're auto by authors going into 2025. And when I was like thinking about this, I was like, oh my God, I literally have so many. Of course, we've got Alice Feeney, but her book has literally just come out. So I've already bought her book for this year. John Mars, he's got a new book coming out in March, and I have the final copy of it pre-ordered. Again, Lisa Jewell, Rachel Harrison. There's so many. And I want to unlock some like new authors in 2025. I've got like so many authors where I've read like 1 book of theirs and loved it. So now I want to read more books of theirs to see like if it was just a fluke or like I'm going to be obsessed with them. Oh my God, do you know who I hope has a new book coming out this year? Because I think that she may be an author for me, is Amy Tintera. Because I read Listen for the Lie in 2024, and I've never found a book so funny. Like, I just got like her style of humour, and I love that. But I've not actually seen if she's got a book coming out this year. I hope she does. A book to TV show adaptation that you're most excited for? The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. This is a running joke, right? Because basically, I am not a Frida McFadden fan. No, listen, if you are, you do you, boo. Like, loads of my friends are fans of Frida McFadden. I just don't like her, and it's like a running joke. But obviously, she's got The Housemaid coming out this year. And will I watch it? I probably will. Even though... So I don't know if this is actually coming out this year, but The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Look at this edition. It's been spoken about for ages, and Netflix have definitely acquired the rights to it. I think it's going to be a film, I think. They really missed, like, their chance, didn't they, with doing, like, a series and having, like, 7 episodes. Who didn't approve that? This is one of my favourite books of all time, and Netflix, don't you fuck it up, I'll riot. There will be riots. I make everybody read this book. I'm pretty sure most people have read it by now, but like I even made my girlfriend, who wasn't a reader at the time, she does read now, but she did it on audio, and even she cried. So like, yeah, there's a lot riding on this book. Verity by Colleen Hoover. This is coming out. I think this is coming out this year. I hope it's coming out this year. I think Anne Hathaway has been cast, which I don't know how I feel about that, if I'm being honest with you. But I love Verity by Colleen Hoover. I might not think that she's a great person. She's definitely done some questionable things. But Verity, you could convince me that she didn't write that book. Because you don't think it's weird, allegedly, how like she's only ever wrote 1 book like that. Like all her others like are nothing like Verity. Conspiracy theory. And Lisa Jewell again, because we're obsessed with Lisa Jewell. I'm a #1 fan. None of this is true. Is being adapted by Netflix into a series. And again, loved that book. That was in like my best books of 2023. Question 13 is a sequel that you are anticipating. Now, I am not typically a series reader. Most of the books I read actually are not part of series. I am in the middle of reading Chris Carter's series, but I don't think he has is part of the Robert Hunter series. I don't think he has a new one coming out in 2025. Oh, no, actually, wait, I thought it went. The Maid's Secret, Nita Prose, I think is the last book in the Molly the Maid series. No, I will cry. I only got into reading that book in December of 2024, and I read all 2 books and the novella in December. Like, I was literally obsessed with Molly. She gives me like such strange Sally Diamond vibes, like quirky characters, neurodivergent. So if you like characters like that, please read The Maid by Nita Prose, the whole series. Do you know what though? You Americans get the better deal, because I am obsessed with the Molly the Maid covers in America. Like, I feel like ours just don't look nice. Like, the American ones are given like classic, like vintage love. Bookish things that you're leaving in 2024. And I think that goes back again to the number of books I'm trying to read. But also, something I've realised that I don't like is saying books are overrated. So I moan all the time on TikTok. Like, when I'm talking about a book and I'm like, oh my God, like, I absolutely love this book. It's my favourite book ever. And then someone comes in the comments and like, that book was shit. And I'm just like, why would you do that? Why are you going to rain on my parade? Like, I always just think, like, read the room. Like, I'm literally saying how much I loved a book. Like, it's a rave review. And I don't understand why people do it. But saying books are overrated, I feel like falls into that category, because like, who am I to sit here and tell you that that book is overrated? Like, surely that falls back into the thing of like, I might not have liked it, but you might love it. Also, when I was watching Larry Reed's video, she touched on negative reviews for books, and I actually have felt this way for like quite a while, because I had a little series, if you will, on TikTok saying books that I didn't like but you might, because I think negative reviews of a book are just as important as positive reviews, because the reason that I might not have liked a book could be the reason that you love it. We definitely will not be bashing books. The only time I will bash books is like if they use like racial slurs, like by white authors, like things like that. Icky, hate it. But if I'm like saying just negative things about what I didn't like about a book, somebody could be like, do you know what? I absolutely love that in a book. Like, going back to my comments about Sherry LaPena, where she only writes plot-driven books and I like character-driven books. Somebody might be watching this and thinking, oh my God, I love plot-driven books. I'm going to go pick up that book by Sherry LaPena. Do you know what I mean? Question 15 is what you can expect from this account. And honestly, I don't really know. Like, I think this is like maybe my 6th video, but all I know is I am absolutely loving it here. If you are new here, hi, welcome. My name's Michaela. I have been on Book Talk for over 2 years now. I want to say I started in like December 2022, and I absolutely fucking love talking about books, which is why I've made the switch. I haven't made the switch, I'm still on Book Talk, but why I've now decided to come onto YouTube. On YouTube, I felt a bit like restricted. I felt like, because short form content and long form content, they're 2 different things. Do you know what I mean? Like, on TikTok, people want like fast paced, like, give me the recs, like I want to know what that book's about in 10 seconds, where YouTube, you have more time to do it. And I think that's something I'm still trying to get used to, because listen, I can talk for England, your girl can talk, but I've gone from like needing to get a synopsis of a book out in 10 seconds to being able to take my time. Obviously not snail's pace, but you know what I mean. And I just want to continue to talk about books that I love. That's why I started my account, and that's what I want to bring here. Just maybe like more detailed versions of that. Yeah. So please subscribe, please like this video, so like I know that you're all enjoying this too, because honestly, I'm having a great time. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters, isn't it? How has my reading taste evolved from last year? And do you know what? It did evolve in 2024. 2023 was the year of thrillers. 2024 was the year of thrillers with a few extras sprinkled in there. I mean, my 2nd favourite book of the year was a cozy fantasy, and that was a plot twist. Nobody, especially not me, saw that one coming. I wouldn't say it's evolved, it's evolving. Hopefully 2025 will be the year that like we we fully evolve. I want to be an eclectic reader. That's what I want. I want to be an eclectic reader. BookTube creators who inspire me. Okay, so I'm going to put a couple of like my real life besties in here and a couple of people who I've watched on BookTube for a long time. Like I've been a BookTube watcher for at least a couple of years, so I've definitely got some favourites of people I like to watch. But number one is going to be my real life bestie, Emma Reads Crime. Me and Emma run a book club together. We run a thriller book club, and honestly, she is just the sweetest person I've ever met. Like, she shots whiskey though, so don't be deceived, but I love her. Number two is another real life bestie, and that is Francesca. Me and Francesca met through Book Talk, and like we realized that we like lived very near each other, and honestly, like she's helped me so much with my TikTok journey, and she is just absolutely killing it. Like literally, she is one of like the top Book Talk and BookTube creators. Love her. And then two of my favorite creators on here are Hayley Hughes. She is a sassy queen and I'm obsessed. I love her. I get so many book recommendations from her because she's quite a character driven reader as well. So I know that if she's loved a book, I'm typically gonna love it. And my last one is Aspen. I absolutely love Aspen's channel. When Aspen goes on rants, they are just like my favorite thing in the entire world. So yeah, they're my favorite BookTube creators. And the last question is so cute, and it is something you want to say to somebody to start a bookish account. And we're going to get a bit soppy, but I can't explain to you how much making book videos has changed my life. Like, obviously I'm very new on BookTube, but Book Talk, I've been there for like 2 years. And I started my book account because I basically got with my girlfriend and I moved an hour away from where I live. I had no friends here. I didn't know anybody. I wanted somebody to speak to about all of the books that I was reading because I've always been a reader. I've been a reader my whole life. Not as much as I read now, but I've definitely always read since I was a child. And I wanted somebody to speak to about all the books I was reading. And I would say I'm quite an extroverted person. I'm like an extroverted introvert, if that is a thing. And I just thought, fuck it, I'm just going to start making videos. And I have met the best people. Some of my best friends are people I've met from doing my silly little book videos. Like, I literally have a whole massive new friend group, which I think making friends is hard anyway. And like, I'm in my 30s, like, making friends as you get older is harder, and especially finding friends who have the same interests in you. And I just can't explain how amazing it has actually been from just posting those videos. And I didn't think, my goal when I started posting those book videos was I just love somebody to send me a book. I went to Harrogate Crime and Thriller Festival last year, and I went with Simon and Schuster. I got to meet Jack Jordan and make videos with him at the Simon & Schuster head office in London. I got to work on the ad campaign for Lisa Jewell's None of This Is True. Like, obviously, like, these are like amazing opportunities that have come from it, which link back to it. But the number one thing is the friends I've made. And I know people always get worried about like, oh, I wonder what people would think. And I definitely did feel like that. But fuck it. Like, honestly, what have you got to lose? Like, if they're watching you and hating, that's on them. That's got nothing to do with you. So make that video. It's hard in the beginning. Like, it is. Like, when you first pick up a camera and like put it in your face, like trying to be like how you are in real life, it's weird, but I promise you, the more you do it, it gets easier. And like, your personality is your biggest asset. There's only one you. Doesn't matter how many other people are making book videos. You're the only person that's going to speak about that book the way that you can speak about that book. Do you know what I mean? But I'm going to shut up now. I think I've been speaking for quite a while. We got a bit deep. We spoke about lots of good books. I hope you've learned a little bit more about me and my reading taste. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. And I shall see you next time.